Hello students, I am Sarita Bhardwaj, PGT Chemistry from KV number 1 Udhampur, and today I am going to discuss few topics from chapter number 3, that is periodic classification of elements. In this chapter I will discuss modern periodic law, long form or modern form of periodic table, and last, nomenclature of elements which have atomic number greater than 100. Before starting with our today's topics, I would like to tell you that how we arrived at modern periodic law. Earlier, different theories were given related to periodic classification of elements. There were Jobanier triads, Newland law of octaves, and Mendeleev periodic law. After that, we arrived at modern periodic law. So I'll not discuss everything in detail, but I'll start with demerits of Mendeleev's periodic table. The drawbacks of Mendeleev's periodic table were there was no explanation of position of isotopes. You know, isotopes are atoms of element which have same atomic number but different mass number. Since in that periodic table, elements were arranged in increasing order of their atomic mass. So same element will have different atomic mass in case of isotopes. So I can say that same element were assigned different position in same periodic table. So it was drawback of Mendeleev's periodic table. Second, the position of hydrogen was not defined. Position of hydrogen was not defined. And last, some atomic masses did not follow the usual order. It means first the element with lower atomic mass should come in periodic table, but it was not the case. So these were few drawbacks of Mendeleev's periodic table. After that arrived modern periodic law. What is modern periodic law? The physical and chemical properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic numbers. It means that the physical and chemical properties of the elements will depend upon their atomic number, and the elements are arranged in increasing order of atomic numbers in periodic table. So this is modern periodic law. Let us now move to modern periodic table, or we can say long form of periodic table. What is this? It is a tabular arrangement of elements in groups and periods which highlights the regular trends in properties of elements. As you can see here, it is a long form of periodic table in which there are vertical columns and horizontal groups, right? So elements are arranged in these vertical columns called groups and horizontal rows called periods. Elements having similar outer electronic configuration in their atoms are arranged in vertical columns, which are known as groups. Here you can see that all elements which are placed in a particular vertical column, all these elements have similar outer electronic configuration. As you can see in case of first group, as you can see here, there is numbering from 1 to 18. There is numbering from 1 to 18. And below that you have vertical columns. So these vertical columns from 1 to 18, these are called groups. And as you can see, as I have told you, that in a particular group, all the elements which are put in a particular group or vertical column, they will have same outer electronic configuration. They will have similar outer electronic configuration. As you can see in first column, that is group 1, we call this first column as group 1. Total there are 18 groups, and you can see in first group hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. All these elements, they will have similar valence electronic configuration, that is they will have one valence electron in each case, right? So I can say that elements which have similar outer electronic configuration, they will be placed in vertical columns, in same vertical column which we call as groups. There are 18 vertical columns known as groups in the modern periodic table, which are arranged from left to right. As I have told you, there are 18 vertical columns. You can see from 1 to 18 there is numbering, and below this numbering there are 18 vertical columns. As we move from left to right, these vertical columns are called groups. So in modern periodic table there are 18 groups. There are 7 horizontal rows which are known as periods. As you can see here, from 1 to 7. You can see here from 1 to 7. There is numbering from 1 to 7, and these are horizontal rows. As you move from left to right, these horizontal rows are known as periods. Since there are 7 horizontal rows here, so these horizontal rows are called periods, and there are 7 periods. The period number corresponds to the highest principal quantum number n of the elements in a periodic table. Here, these numbering from 1 to 7, these are represented by small n, and this represent the highest principal quantum number which you have already studied in chapter 2, structure of atom. So n corresponds to highest quantum number, which is equal to the numbering of periods, right? Okay. Next is, according to IUPAC, the group numbered from 1 to 18 replaces the older notation of group 1A, 8A, 8, and so on. As you can see, in earlier periodic table, in Mendeleev's periodic table, group 1 was called 1A, group 2 was called group 2A. So earlier notations, as you can see here, these were earlier notations. These were earlier notations. So these earlier notations were now replaced by new notation, that is in digit form. Right? So according to IUPAC, earlier notations were replaced by new form, that is 1 to 18. The first period contained 2 elements. As you can see here, this is hydrogen. First period n is equal to 1. When n is equal to 1, this is first period. In n is equal to 1, in first period there are only 2 elements, that is hydrogen and helium. In next others, the subsequent period will consist of 8. You can see here in period number 2 there is 8 elements. In period number 3 there are 8 elements. Next 18. In period number 4 there are 18 elements. In period number 5 there are 18 elements, and then 32 elements respectively. How 32 elements respectively? See, in period number 6, as you can see, in period number 6, after 57, that is after 57 you will start elements below the periodic table, that is lanthanide series. After lanthanum you will have cerium. So there are 14 elements in lanthanide series which is indicated below the periodic table. From here 57, after that 58 will start below the periodic table. So there will have 32 elements in total. Similarly in period 7, after actinium, that is AC, after actinium you will start numbering from thorium, that is atomic number 90. So the 14 elements which are present below the periodic table, the first series is known as lanthanoid series, and the first element of this series is cerium, and the next series of 14 element is actinide series, and the first element of this series is thorium. So you can see that overall in periodic table there are 18 vertical columns which are called groups. There are 7 horizontal rows which are known as periods, and first period consists of 2 elements, second period and third period consist of 8 elements each, fourth and fifth period consist of 18 elements each, and next 2 period, that is period number 6 and 7, consist of 32 elements respectively. In period 6, after lanthanum, 14 elements are present which are indicated below the periodic table in form of lanthanide series, and in period 7, after actinium, 14 elements are indicated below the periodic table which is known as actinide series. Earlier notations, older notations are replaced by new notation, that is in digit form we replace second A is replaced by 2, third B is replaced by 3. So this is modern periodic table. Now in brief, I can discuss features of modern periodic table. As I've already discussed, elements having similar outer electronic configuration in their atoms are arranged in vertical column, which is referred to as groups. So I have mentioned all these. There are 18 vertical columns known as groups in the modern periodic table. This also I have told that there are 18 vertical columns. There are 7 horizontal rows which are known as periods. The period number correspond to highest principal quantum number n of the elements in periodic table. According to IUPAC, the groups numbered from 1 to 18 replace the older notation of group 1a up to 8a, then 8, 1b, 8b and 0. The first period contained 2 elements. I have told you the subsequent period will contain 8, 8, 18, 18 and 32 elements respectively. 14 elements of both 6th and 7th periods, that is lanthanoids and actinoids respectively, are placed in separate panels at the bottom. These points have been discussed by me while discussing modern periodic table. Now, first group in modern periodic table is known as alkali metal. First group was known as alkali metal because they form strong alkalis with water. What is alkalis? Bases which are soluble in water are known as alkali. So first group element which consists starting from hydrogen, that group is known as alkali metal. Second group is known as alkaline earth metal. Second group is known as alkaline earth metal. They also form alkalis but weaker than group 1 elements. The second group elements are known as alkaline earth metal because they also form alkalis, but those alkalis are weaker than those which are formed by first group elements. Group 13 is known as boron family, as the first element of that group is boron. Next group 14, it is known as carbon family. Its first element is carbon. Next group 15 is known as nitrogen family. And this group has known metals and metalloids. This group will have known metals and metalloids. What are metalloids? Metalloids are elements which have properties of both metals and non-metals. The zigzag line in periodic table indicates metalloids. Group 16 is known as oxygen families and they are known as chalcogens. Chalcogens means which are ore forming. As you know, oxygen is mainly present in form of oxides, right? Oxide ores are present. So these elements belonging to this group, they are generally present in form of ores. As you can see, sulfide ores, oxide ores, because of their ore forming tendency, they are known as chalcogens. Next is halogen family. Group 17 family is also known as halogen family. It means the elements of this group have strong tendency to form salts. Because of that, they are known as halogens. NaCl, you can see sodium chloride. Chloride here, chlorine belongs to group 17 and NaCl is known as table salt. So they have strong tendency to form salt. Because of that, the elements belonging to group 17 are known as halogens, and this whole group is known as halogen family. Last group is group 18, which is known as zero group, or it is also called noble. The elements belonging to this group is also known as noble gases or inert gases because they are highly inert. That's why they are known as inert gases. Next is nomenclature of elements with atomic number greater than 100. How can we name the elements which have atomic number greater than 100? For that, you should know certain abbreviation. As you can see in table, in first table, digits are given. This is root. For example, for 0 you will use root nil. For 1 you will use un. For 2 bi. For 3 tri. For 4 quad. For 5 pent. For 6 hex. For 7 hap, sept. For 8 oct, and for 9 in. So these are the roots for the different digits and abbreviation form of this you will use first letter of root. For abbreviated form you will use first letter of the root. For example, for nil you will use N, for try you will use T, for quad you will use Q, for oct you will use O. So for abbreviated form of any root will be its first digit. Now how to name the element with atomic number above 100? The name is derived directly from the atomic number of element using the following Latin numerical roots. We have to use Latin numerical roots as indicated in table. You have to use this Latin numerical roots for naming the elements with atomic number greater than 100. The roots are put together in order of digits which make up the atomic number. Right? First you have to see the digits, and then according to that digit you have to use the roots, and that is terminated by em. Whatever will be the name, that will be terminated by em, right? For example, as you can see here, 101, 101, atomic number of that will be 41. As you can see in table, for 1 you will use un, for 1 you will use un, so this is un. For 0 you will use nil, for 0 you will use nil, so this is nil. And again for 1 you will use un, right? So I have used 1, un for 1, nil for 0, and again un for 1, right? So these are the roots I have used, and ending will be by em. As I have told you, ending will be by em, so I have added em at the last, so its name will be un, nil, unium. And for symbol, as I have told you, you have to use first letter of the root. For un you will use u, for nil you will use n, and for un you will again use u. So this is symbol for 101, right? Okay. Similarly, as you can see here, for example, for 108, you can see here for 108, 1 here refers to un. As you can see in the above table, 1 refers to un. So I have written un here. For 0 it's nil. For 0 it's nil. For 8, you can see for 8 it's oct. So I have used oct here, and ending is done with em. Ending is done with em. So un nil octium, its symbol will be un, indicates first letter is u, for nil it's n, and for oct it's o. So its symbol for element with atomic number 108, right? So in this way we can nomenclate the elements which have atomic number greater than 100. For example, for if they have asked you for 115, 415, how you will name this element? So from the table you will see for 1, what we use for 1? For 1 we use un. So I will write un, again un for 1, un, un, and for 5 you use pent, un, pent, and its ending should be with em. So I am ending it with em. So its name will be un, pentium, right? And its symbol will be, first letter will be capital U, then again U, and then P. So un, pentium. So this is symbol for 115 atomic number. So by using this table you can nomenclate the elements which have atomic number greater than 100. So this is all what I have to discuss in this topic. Thank you so much.